Hey guys, I have recently gotten some new makeup, mostly in PR, that I wanted to try for you guys, like the Jones Road foundation stick. They sent me two shades, Light and Sand. I think they're both a little bit too deep for me, but I wanted to try it. We can maybe focus on the formula, maybe ignore the shade. We'll see. Maybe it does work for me. Refi also sent me their new watercolor blushes. They sent 3 shades and their water bronzer. These are both like cushion products, which I'm so excited for. I really do love cushion products. And they were so in vogue for a while, and then they kind of fell off for a bit, and now it feels like they're back. So I'm very excited for those. Hindash extended the color range of his color fluids. He's come out with Concrete, which is this gray shade, and Sculpt, which is this warm brown shade. And then he did re-up me on Boy Tears and Carve, these 2 shades. These are actually the 2 shades that I probably have used the most out of the color fluids. So yeah, who knows? Who knows where this try-on makeup is going to take us, but I do want to play with these. I do think Concrete is going to be interesting if I go with that one. Or maybe we'll do both. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. And then RMS sent me their legendary lip oil. I love, love, love these lip oils. They have definitely appeared in like favorites videos of mine, but they've come out with a new shade, which is Chameleon. So it's one of those color changing ones. So I'm really interested in trying that. And I actually purchased this the last time I stopped into Ulta, which was a couple weeks ago. And Ilia has a soft focus finishing powder. I don't know how this escaped my eyes because you know how much I love the Ilia soft blurring blushes. So this is basically a finishing powder that is of basically the same formula, at least it appears to be the same formula as those blushes that I really love. So I'm very, very excited to try this. It does say finishing powder, but I think I'm going to use it as a setting powder, and then maybe we'll follow it up at the end of my look and use it as a finishing powder as well. We'll see. Anyway, let's try this Jones Road foundation stick. Here is the packaging for the foundation stick. It's got this cool magnetic top. And like I mentioned, they sent over Light and Sand. And Light is over here, and this one is Sand. I am not going to do anything with sand. I'm not going to swatch it or anything because it is too deep for me and I want to be able to donate it. So I'm just going to put that back. I just wanted to show it to you guys so you can compare it to Light. And Light, let me just do a swatch on my hand here. There is Light. And my hand is paler than my face. Maybe it will work. I don't know, but it just looks very deep in the tube. So I am going to also be using their face blending brush. I don't know if this is new to Jones Road, but they sent it along with these foundation sticks. So I'm going to use it together. So I'm just going to do a couple swipes here. We'll do 3. Maybe this will work. I think it depends on the coverage. If it's light, I think it'll be fine. It is very emollient. There's no fragrance or anything. But yeah, I think you can see it's just a hint too deep for my skin tone. Maybe as the summer goes on, it'll work. If I like the formula, maybe I'll just kind of hold on to it and put it on once I get a little bit of, maybe if I get a little bit of color this summer. One can hope, one can hope. Very light coverage. You saw I put 3 strokes there, which is what I usually do like when I use my Dior foundation stick, and I feel like I get some pretty decent coverage with that. This is much lighter. So I'm gonna apply a little bit more right here. I have a little bit of redness and discoloration there. Let's see how it does in terms of coverage. And add a little bit to the forehead here. I think actually this is a good shade for my forehead, which is considerably deeper than the lower half of my face here. I do like this formula. It's very creamy. It's very emollient, but I don't feel like it leaves behind, you know, a foundation that's too oily or too greasy. I don't feel like the finish of this is especially shiny or anything like that. It actually looks very, very natural on the skin, which is really nice. But I think that initial emollients really lends itself to blending out smoothly, really smoothly, very, very effortlessly, which is really great. Okay, so here it is applied, here it is without. I think you can see how light the coverage is. You can still see a lot of my sunspots, a little bit of the redness in my cheek, but it's done a little bit. I think this is really great for the summertime. I think it's great if you like light coverage, obviously. If you just want something really, really easy, this could be the foundation stick for you. Yeah, that's nice. Okay, let me just apply to the rest of my face. I'm gonna do the same thing. 3 strokes on the cheeks and then just draw it around on my forehead. Lovely. Really, really nice. I like the light coverage. I really like it. It's very in line with Jones Road, if you get my drift. It's very like easy to use. I think the coverage is, you know, very natural, very light. The finish is very natural. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. There's no fragrance or anything. It's kind of like a no fuss kind of foundation stick, which is really nice. Okay, I think the light is okay. It's a little bit deep if you're gonna compare it to my neck, but it's not bad. I do think if the coverage was heavier, we may have a problem, but because enough of my own skin is kind of shining through, I think this is okay. If you use me as shade reference and you anticipate maybe getting a little bit of a tan over the summer, I think this would work for you. Otherwise, I think I would go down maybe 1 shade. Yeah, maybe 1 shade. Okay, so that is the Jones Road Your Skin Foundation Stick. Very nice. I'm so excited to jump into this Ilia powder, but because I have these Refi cushion products, I think I should apply these first because they are a cream, excuse me, they are a cream product. So let me pull out this water bronzer, and the shade they sent over is Cove, which I do believe is the lightest shade. And this packaging is a little funky. Let me just mention this before I move on. So here's the compact, and then this flips open, and then this is refillable. So it snaps in, which is great, but I feel like every time I reach for this, I have my thumb back here, and I basically, do you see, I like push it out. So I wish it was in here a little bit more sturdy. Because I feel like I have to kind of press it down back into this compact every time I pick it up. But that's okay, that's a minor complaint. All right, let me open this up. It does have a little safety seal here, or freshness seal. And let me just do a little swatch here. Quite watery. And then this is actually pretty pigmented. It has a nice, it's not too watery, it has a nice kind of smooth feeling to it. Let me see what the ingredients are. Glycerin. So water is the first ingredient, then there's a trimethicone, and then glycerin is the 3rd ingredient, dimethicone is the 4th ingredient. So the glycerin, I think, is what I'm feeling. It's kind of that ooey gooey, smooth feeling, and it leaves behind a really nice shine there. That's really pretty. All right, so Refi also sent over this Duo Brush 2.0, and I'm gonna use this. I mean, I think that's what they're saying, right? Use this to apply. Yeah, so one side is big fluffy bronzer side, I'm assuming, and this side is a little bit angled, quite fluffy as well. I'm gonna use this for the blushes that they sent over. Okay, taking the fluffy side, going into the bronzer. I'm gonna start light because it did seem fairly well pigmented. And you always wanna make sure that you snap and close this lid whenever you're dealing with a cushion product so it doesn't dry out. And I'm just going to start applying. Ooh, yeah, this is pigmented, but it's blending out nicely. I'm just working it in with this brush. Okay, so this shade that they sent me is the lightest shade. It is described as fair to light neutral bronze with soft, warm tones. Wow, they just covered it all in there, didn't they? Okay, and then there's 5 shades altogether. It retails for $30. And I'm noticing it's coming soon, at least at the time that I'm filming this. So let me see. Oh, it's coming soon. It's available June 4th. I think this video is going up around then, maybe a little bit earlier than that. Anyway, stay tuned. Coming to Sephora June 4th. Okay, so there's the bronzer on this side. Yeah, it's quite nice. It is quite pigmented, so I would go in gently for sure. When it comes to cushion products, I do typically like to use a sponge. I don't know why. As you guys know, I don't usually use sponges. I usually just use brushes or whatever. But I don't know, something about the cushion being a sponge itself. Maybe I just like sponge on sponge action. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but I see cushion and I want to use a sponge. So I've got my big Refer sponge here. So I want to try this product out with a sponge. So I'm just going to dip a little bit of the pointy end into the bronzer and then just start dabbing. I think the sponge may have been a little bit more successful in that it was faster. It was like a faster application. I just kind of pounced and I was done. I felt like I had to work it a little bit more with the brush. But yeah, this was pretty fast. I think the end result is the same. I think it looks pretty much the same on either side, but I just got there a little bit faster with the sponge. It's quite nice. I think I'm going to build up the bronze a little bit more. I'm feeling a little summery here, so I'm just going to dab twice in there with the sponge and just bring it down my nose. Maybe get my chin here. And I feel like this tone is really nice, right? I don't feel like it's too warm in any way. It's just very neutral. Very, very neutral. And I do love the cream bronzer from Refi. That's one of my favorite cream bronzers. So not surprised. They really create like a nice tone when it comes to their bronzers. And then next, they did send me 3 of their water blushes. So I did open up Apricot when I did my PR haul, but I did not do a swatch. So I'm gonna do a swatch of all of these. Okay, here is Apricot, Lychee, and Acai. And these, just like the water bronzer, are gonna be available at Sephora on June 4th. And these are the only 3 shades that they have in this water, not only, but I have all of the shades. These are the 3. You know what I'm saying. So I think we can agree Acai is a little bit deep for my skin tone. So I'm gonna try, I think I'm gonna try Lychee. That's the one in the middle. Apricot is the lighter one that I swatched on top. So I'm gonna go in with Lychee. This is a really beautiful, bright, like warm tone pink. And these are a little bit smaller than the bronzer. So here's the bronzer compact. Here's the water blush compact. And I am gonna use the other side of this Refi Duo brush. And it's a little bit big for this compact. I feel like I kind of have to work it around, but that's okay. And I'm just gonna sweep on. I feel like this would make a nice base for a powder blush. Let me add a little bit more. I'm wondering if it's just like a little too watery. You know, then again, I'm, you know, an aggressive blush wearer. I really like blush. So maybe this is just for me and my aesthetic, what I'm thinking. But if you like a lighter blush, this is actually quite pretty. And it's layering nicely. I'm applying a light second layer here. Yeah, and it's definitely showing up a little bit brighter. That's nice. Okay, so about this product, this skincare infused water-based blush melts seamlessly into skin for a dewy, fresh glow. The Korean-made cushion compact allows effortless, buildable application without streaking or patching. Pair it with the Refi Duo Brush 2.0, sold separately, for seamless blending. This blush is lightweight, breathable, and designed for real life to enhance skin without looking like makeup. And I would say it's not setting down completely, but it doesn't feel sticky or tacky, which is great. I'm gonna put some over my nose here. I like it. It is a very, very gentle, kind of natural blush look. It is very, very pretty. I'm gonna do the same thing on this side. I'm gonna use a little sponge. Okay, I just grabbed my Sonia Kashuk sponge. I'm not like dampening these because I don't wanna water down the blush, excuse me, I don't wanna water down the blush even more. But the sponge is a little bit on the harder side. I mean, it's still spongy. I think it should be fine. Okay, let me open this guy back up. I'm gonna dip the point in here and then see if I can blend this out. Wow, this was just one, This was just one dab in there. Oh boy, oh boy. Let me actually I'm gonna take the butt end of this, which has no product, and just pounce that right on top. See if I can soften this blush a little bit. Wow. Okay, all right. Well, that blended out nicely. Just be careful how much product you, very, very well pigmented, just like the bronzer. Okay, really pretty. And I like this lychee shade. It's so nice. Oops, I got a little bit right underneath my eye here. Oh my gosh, Painted by Esther would be proud of me. Speaking of Painted by Esther, I think I'm gonna try applying a powder shadow over this. And I've been wanting to try these from Make. These are the Skin Mimetic Micro Suede Blushes. Here's the box packaging. And I'm trying Cosmic, which is this really pretty light pink. Let me do a swatch for you. So it's a little bit lighter, a lot cooler than this lychee blush. But I just want to try layering, and I've been wanting to try this, so no time like the present. I've got my Westman Atelier Powder 2 brush. I'm going to go into Cosmic and just put it here. Just focusing it on the apples of my cheeks. I also have this Mystic Mauve shade from Make. I think I'll try putting that back here. It's a little bit of a deeper shade. Oh, you know what I wanted to do? I did want to use the powder now because I've gotten all my cream products down. So I'm going to pull out the Ilia Soft Focus Finishing Powder because what I was going to do was that Painted by Esther, like loose powder, kind of like pat it around the edges and make sure everything is like blurred and blended out really beautifully. But I'm gonna try it with this Ilia or just see what happens. Maybe I need to go back in with some loose powder, but here is the packaging. And I did get medium translucent because the light translucent was very light. It was like white, I think, if I remember correctly. And I did want to get something that wasn't going to look a little too, I don't know, chalky on my skin. So I got medium. Let me do a swatch of this. Yeah, this is just like the blush. Oh, it's so beautiful. Yeah, so there is medium. It's very translucent, but it has this gorgeous satin sheen. Oh, that's stunning. Okay, I've got my Chantecaille Kabuki brush. I'm wondering if I should use a puff, at least around the blush. Maybe I should do that. Okay, I've got this little Natasha Denona puff, and I'm just gonna go in, pick up some of this Ilia, and I'm just gonna pat it down around the blush. That really diffused it out, but now that I did that, I feel like this side is deeper, it's brighter than this side. So I am going to add a little bit more of this Cosmic blush right here, and then add a little bit more powder again. Make sure it's all diffused out. I love that technique. I love it when you add like a little bit of powder on top and it really kind of diffuses everything out, makes everything look really cottony soft. Very cloud-like, if you will. But I'm going to take a brush and apply this powder kind of all over. So I'm going to take my Chantecaille Kabuki brush and just lightly apply all over. I really like the finish of this powder. It's gorgeous. Oof, such a beautiful, soft satin finish. That's gorgeous. This is such a winner. Such a winner. I'm so glad it's lived up to my expectations. You guys know how much I love that blush. I was like, this better be just as good. And it is. Eyeshadow. Okay, let's take a look at these Hindash color fluids. So I did briefly watch Hindash's video that he came out with last week or the week before when he launched these two new shades of the color fluid. So this one is Concrete, this one is Sculpt. So Concrete, he talks about as just a very true gray. He was mentioning that in his collection that a lot of the grays that he has kind of lean darker, and they end up being like a very charcoal, they, you know, have like a bluish undertone, and what he wanted was a gray that was very true to just gray, to just being gray. And then the sculpt is a warm caramel brown. It has yellow undertones, which I think you guys can see. But he does use concrete to mix into other shades, to cool other shades down. So I think what I'm gonna do is actually maybe mix these two together. Because as much as I love a warm look, I do think cooler or neutral to cooler shades look a little bit better on me. I don't know, things have changed since I bleached my hair. I do feel like I can wear warmer shades now, but maybe it's just my preference that I like cooler or like neutral to cooler shades. So I am going to just swipe some of this sculpt out onto the back of my hand. So there it is, unadulterated. And then I'm just gonna add a little bit of the concrete, because again, easy to add, not so easy to take away. And I'm just gonna dab like a little bit of the concrete there. And I'm just gonna take a brush. I'm gonna take this brush from BK Beauty. This is the A501 brush. And I'm gonna mix the two. I'm gonna grab some of this gray and mix these two together. And you can see how much the gray affects the sculpt. You really don't need that much. And I feel like what I'm creating here is a taupe, which you guys know I love. I just can't get away from taupe, even when I'm mixing and playing with color. But I really do like mixing and playing around with color, even though I'm not great with color at all. I made plenty of mistakes when it comes to colors, especially in my wardrobe, but it's still fun. It's still fun to play around with. So I'm gonna grab a little bit of this, and I just want like a sheer wash of this over my lid. I'm gonna pick up a little bit more. These do set down, so I should be working a little bit more quickly here. It's a beautiful, beautiful base. I love that. And then I think what I can do is just pick up a little bit of the sculpt by itself and maybe run it along my lash line here in a really subtle way. I had to dab out a little bit more what I had on my hand kind of set down. Isn't this beautiful though, for like a really nice, subtle look? Get a little bit of shading in there, but nothing too dramatic. Of course, you can always add more pigment, but I like how these apply or can be applied in a really sheer way. I made my own taupe. Oh, I love it. I love these, and they do completely set down. You'll probably not want to use too much at a time because it will set down, but they won't budge once you get it on your eyes. They won't budge. Oh, but that's really cool. I definitely have to play around with this concrete because you can use these color fluids all over, cheeks, lips, wherever. And I do have a lot of lip colors that are a little bit too warm. You guys know how much I love like a gray tone lip, so this will be really, really handy to have. Okay, for some reason, maybe it's this gray that has inspired me. I wanted a purpley eyeliner, so I took out Lisa Eldridge's Seamless Glide Eye Pencil in Lilac Thyme. Here is Lilac Thyme. I just thought this would be a nice pairing. Again, not great with color, but we'll see. We'll see. Ooh, I kind of like that look. I'm gonna see actually if I can smudge it out just a little bit. I need to find the right brush though. I'm gonna use this Sonia G Alpine 6 brush and smudge out that line just a little bit. I do like that pairing. And I really like this lilac. I'm not gonna go so far as to say it's like a neutral, because it's not, but it's really not as much of a statement as I thought it would be. I think it kind of just blends in quite nicely. Okay, all right, I'm going to curl my eyelashes here. I wish I had a fun mascara shade. I do not. Oh my God, I just blew by my eyebrows, didn't I? We'll take care of that too. We'll just use my Dior brow gel. Since we have Ilia today, I'm going to use the Ilia Limitless Lash Mascara in brown. All right, now for lips. I'm excited to try this legendary lip oil from RMS Beauty in Chameleon. Here is the packaging. The formula of these legendary lip oils are so good because they're not just too oily where it's, you know, really, really thin. There's definitely like some thickness to it, but it's not sticky like a gloss or anything like that. So this is what it looks like right out of the tube, just bright green. Let's see what it turns into. A nice bright pink, very pretty. There was a time when these first came out, I don't know, like 15 years ago. I remember like there were a lot of these color changing lip products and it always turned into like a mauvey pink. And then I feel like Tom Ford came out with one a little while ago and it was like this bright pink. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is different. This is very similar to that. It's kind of in between, not quite as bright as the Tom Ford, but not quite as like mauvey, purpley as the ones of yesteryear. This is quite nice. So Rosemary Swift, the founder and creator behind RMS Beauty, she says on her website that this is a pH adjusted lip color. It's actually getting brighter. It's getting brighter as I sit here. It's so pretty for the summertime. This is like such a perfect pink. Look at that. And it's really bringing out the blush and everything. Wow, this is such a colorful look for me today. Between this blush, the eyeliner, and these lips. You guys, who am I? Who is this? So that is it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. This was such a fun trying new makeup video between like, you know, really trying to get into the Painted by Esther blush, like transition blush look, kind of playing around and like mixing eyeshadow, these color fluids to create my own eyeshadow, this lilac, this pH changing lip. This was such a fun try on haul. Anyway, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe down below if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next video.